All right, welcome back. In the next few videos, we're going to focus on building a substantial application, something that has a lot of moving pieces, longer HTML, more CSS, a lot of styling, and most importantly, a lot of DOM manipulation and event handling. What we're going to build is an RGB color guessing game. So it's not only a great demonstration of how all these pieces fit together, but it's also a really nice tool for you to have and for you to practice RGB colors. Because the RGB color system is a little bit unintuitive at first. It's very different than most color systems that people are used to working with. So let me show you how it works. We load up the page and we get 6 random colors here. These are always different. And one of those colors is listed up here, the name of the color in RGB, and our job is to pick which one. Remember that there are 3 channels, red, green, and blue, and each one ranges from 0 to 255. And all that we need are those 3 colors to make every single color that we could ever want. Black, white, yellow, orange, purple, all of those are actually made by combining red, green, and blue. So if we take a look, I have Wikipedia open. We can see how additive color mixing works in this diagram. So we have red, green, and blue. And to make yellow, we actually combine red and green, which is maybe a little different than what you expected. To make magenta, it's blue and red. And to make cyan, this light blue color, it's green and blue. And then lastly, to make white, we combine all 3. So here's another diagram down here that makes it a little easier. We have red, green, and blue, and then magenta, yellow, cyan, and white. And then no color is black. So if we go back, we can use that to try and figure out what color this is. So if we take a look, we have a bunch of red, almost all red, up to 255, so almost there. A lot of green and very little blue. So a lot of red and a lot of green, if you remember from this chart, red and green makes yellow. So if we had 255 red, 255 green, it would look like this. But we have less than 255, so it's not going to be as bright. So let's go back. Hopefully you can tell which one is the correct answer based off of the diagram we just looked at. But I'm going to guess something wrong first to show you what happens. So this one is definitely wrong. This is all red and very little green. I click and it goes away and it tells me try again. So let's keep guessing some wrong ones, like that one. This one's wrong. This one's wrong. Okay, now let's guess the correct one. Red and green. It's going to be very yellow. So this is correct. I'll click and notice that all 6 squares come back. They all change to the correct color. And our background up here changes to be the correct color as well. And I get a message that says correct. And if I want, I can click on play again, and that will generate new colors. My screen goes back to blue up here, and I get 6 new squares and a new random color here. And then what I can also do is change the difficulty. So if I want easier, I only have 3 colors to pick from. This can get a little bit challenging when we have, I'll refresh a few times. Like here, we have 2 shades of blue that are very similar. Now, after you play this game for a while, you should be able to determine which one is correct based off of these 3 pink shades or these 2 blue shades, and that's really the point here. But to start out, you might just want 2 colors to pick from. So here's another one. Let's do it. A little bit of red, almost no red. A little bit of green, not very much, and a lot of blue, of course, is going to give us very pure blue. Let's go back to hard mode. One other point that I'll show here is that it's a responsive site. So I can resize it, and my squares move to the middle. Watch this little nav bar here. The space between them on the sides will increase and decrease. And if I have a message, so let's click on one of these that's wrong. I get try again. Notice how these move closer together, and then I can move them apart, and we get some more spacing in there. So to wrap up, before we actually start creating it, I just want to summarize a few things. It's going to be a pretty large app. It's going to be a lot of JavaScript, about 100-ish lines, quite a bit of CSS as well, and some HTML too. We're going to start kind of bare bones, very little styling, and we're just going to get the functionality going. And then we'll go and add some styling on top of it. The other thing, and then once we finish it, hopefully you can use this quite often to brush up on your RGB skills. Even just making this for the course has helped me quite a bit to brush up on some of my RGB skills. I've noticed that I tend to rely too much on RGB color pickers, so this was great for me as well to get some practice and to remind myself how RGB works. So in the next video, we're going to start writing some code.